going. Hey, how's everybody doing? How you doing, Tommy?
Oh, good. Sweating my little pasty see-through tushy off, man. It
Yeah,
is hot.
as you guys can tell, Steve's not here with us right now. He had a last minute thing come up, a family thing. So I don't know if he said he was going to be running late, but I told him not to worry about it. If he needs to deal with what's going on, that's more important. This, we'll figure it out. It's not that serious.
For sure. We can just hope everything's going well and that everything's going to work out for him. So,
Yeah, he'll fill you in uh, once you get a hold of you. You guys get a chance to talk. But either
oh
way,
yeah.
today's show, I guess, is going to be a little bit different because we had a whole thing planned out, and Steve was actually going to, like always, uh, educate us. And but that being the case, you guys are stuck with us. So we'll
Bum
make
bum
Yeah, I
bum.
know. We'll make the best of it. Basically, the idea, or yeah, just the gist of what was going to happen today. I've been having conversations with Steve of observations that I've been making, and these are just simply my observations. It's not anything that that maybe is trending or anything like that. It's just that it's kind of drawn my attention, I guess, because it's what I've been looking up on YouTube, and the algorithm is all of a sudden throwing all this information at me, like it usually does when you start looking for stuff. But one of the things that I've been getting interested in is, as you guys well know, I like aquarium plants, and I've been kind of interested and fascinated. Hey, Lady Roar, how you doing? Let's see who else we got. First class Fish here. Thank you for being here. Ralphie Joe, like always, thank you very much. Tina, thank you for being here with us. Um, and like I said, it's just been, I guess, just gradually or organically happened where now I'm going to the store and I'm looking at houseplants.
Right.
Something that I never did before, and I'm starting to get interested. And then it doesn't help that YouTube picks up on the stuff that I look at, and all of a sudden they start feeding me all of these videos. But
Yeah.
what really did it for me was I was watching, and this is a while back. I was watching this one channel that's out of Australia, and they were doing a tour of this fish keeper, and he doesn't really do a whole lot of YouTubing.
Mm-hmm.
He's an old head like me, but the way he had his fish room set up is just it just spoke to me. Basically, what he has done, he has taken outdoors and brought it indoors. And what I mean by that, yeah, he has racks like we do, but
Mm-hmm.
he's managed to incorporate a lot of other plants to kind of break up the lines and make it look more
Yeah.
more natural.
Yeah.
And the minute I saw that, I was like, "Whoa, that's exactly what I want to see." What's his
Mhm.
channel so we can see? It is keep fish simple, I believe is his name.
Keeping fish simple.
Yeah, keeping fish simple. And the fish room that I'm
I know who
talking
you're. Yeah.
about is Adrian. Adrian's fish room, and I guess recently he's kind of partnered up with them, and he's kind of a local breeder that's supplying them with fish. Yeah, the Australian guy. And when I saw that tour of that fish room, I was like just blown away because even though I had kind of envisioned it, to actually see it, somebody do that, yeah, it's pretty awesome. And and he has like just plants and potted plants. He's got potted plants. He's got plants coming out of the top of his aquariums, and he's got plants in the aquarium. So it all just kind of blends in, and it looks like, to me, it looks like real organic and natural, and I just find it very appealing.
Yeah, no, I'm
So
down for that too. I love that kind of look, like bringing all of that and making the inside of the house look like a jungle. I mean, what's it gonna do? Give
and
you more fresh oxygen in your house?
yeah, yeah, better quality air.
Yeah.
Um, and so that kind of sparked my interest. So I started having this conversation with Steve. In his, yeah, I don't know if it's his garage or he's got a shed that I think is built up. I'm not sure. I don't know those details, but yes, it is. And he has a lot of fish tanks, and he does a lot of the stuff. He's more of the natural breeding. He's not necessarily. Uh, I kind of relate to him because it's kind of the same way I keep fish, and not really messing with them too much, just kind of letting them do their thing. And yeah, that's exactly it. First class is bringing in that just to give you. I mean, as much time as I'm already spending in here, why not? Hey, Jeff, why not make it where it's even better, in my opinion?
Yeah.
And hey,
Yeah.
Rico,
Or to
thank
improve
you for
yourself,
joining
make
us today.
yourself better.
Hey, Jesse, thanks for being here. So, and that's what started that whole conversation. So I started asking Steve all these questions. I said, look, Steve, um, I saw this, and he starts laughing immediately. He goes, "You mean you want to do this?" And he pans his phone around because we were talking on a video call. He goes, "This is what you want to do?" And he starts showing me his whole house, and the damn thing looks like Jumanji. It looks like a jungle inside his house.
Oh, heck yeah.
So I was laughing. I was like, "Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do."
Mm-hmm.
And he just starts laughing. He goes, "I was figuring." He said, "I figured when you were going to want to start getting into houseplants, it was just a matter of time." So so that started picking his brain because I've already gone to him for a couple of times for information. Yeah, that's Jeffrey Watts. Watts Water. He's got his own YouTube channel now, Rico. You might see if he'll come on your focus on. And
Heck yeah.
yeah, and so the conversation started. I go, all right. So how do I start by knowing which plants I can keep in an aquarium as
Mm-hmm.
immersed plants? Which plants? I know there's plants that are out there that you could go to a local big box store, and they're actually aquatic plants that are just grown immersed, and because the name kind of changes sometimes, or they have a generic name, I don't recognize them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the conversation was going.
Or some people just name the stuff on the spot, like the same thing with fish.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
and
it's a rainbow shark, not a Denison barb or whatever it is. Roseline shark.
yeah,
There you
roseline
go.
shark.
If it's a boy, you call it a roseline shark. If it's a girl, it's the Denison barb.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
yeah.
so
And some people will change like tiny little bitty things, like small little
Yeah.
genetic things, or they think they are. Like just
or the one thing that I'm finding that I'm learning is because again I don't go to nurseries to get my
Mhm.
plants. I go the big box stores, department stores, like Wally World and Home Depot and Lowe's, and you go and you
Yeah.
look at the plants, and a lot of the time they don't even have the scientific name of the plant. They'll have a
Right.
designated name that they gave it, or
Mhm.
just a generic brand I've, it's so hard. That was the part that I was getting frustrated because I kept telling Steve, I said, I'm trying to look up these on the phone to
Mhm.
try to identify what plant it is so that I can get a better idea if it's something that I'm going to be able to propagate in water and have it grow out in the tank or not. And he just starts laughing. He goes, "Well, welcome to the world of commerce." That's what's going on there.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
that was kind of what we were going to be talking about today because he was going to kind of film. I was going to ask him the same questions. I started asking him questions. And I told him, "Hey, you know what? Don't answer." I said, "Why don't we take this and do it on the live stream?" And because I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that has questions. I mean, I know a little
Oh
bit
yeah.
about aquatic plants, and I mean a little,
Mhm.
um, and I can learn a lot more. So, but that was kind of that's why the title "Merging Hobbies" because I'm starting to see. Uh, I don't know if it's a trend, but like I said, it's the algorithm that's feeding me. Is I started to see people that are in the plant hobby kind of slowly migrating into keeping aquariums, and then people that are in the aquarium hobby slowly migrating into keeping plants. There you go, exactly. And and I was going, well, maybe this is something we need to speak about. And
This is my new one that I'm working on growing out of the aquarium. I'm thinking of letting it run all the way up this.
yeah, what
Oh,
kind of
wrong
plant is
way.
that?
This is Malabar spinach.
Oh, okay.
It is. Those are absolutely edible leaves, just like with any other spinach leaf. The only difference is this kind grows on a vine. Here, I'll get it in the light so that
Oh,
y'all
okay.
can see that. So it's a little bit thicker of a leaf, and you'll see this. You'll see depending on how much nutrients or whatever's going on, you'll see variegation in it, and then like the red edging and bordering of it. And then of course the vine itself is real bright red as well, so you can see some of the variegation in that one. But yeah, absolutely absolutely edible too.
Yeah, so and that's where I was kind of going with that whole thing is because I'm starting to see, and like I said, I don't know if it's a trend. I think it's more of me going onto the platform and searching stuff like that. That all of a sudden it just starts bombarding me with all these other channels that are doing similar things to that effect. Or maybe
Yeah.
it is a trend, and I'm just kind of having to find out about it. But
We're behind, man.
nonetheless, it's still something that I'm very interested in doing.
For sure.
Because it would be nice to break up the hard lines inside the aquarium and kind of blend them in. I know.
I think a lot more people are going to be interested in that than you give credit. I really do. I think there's a lot of people out there that are interested in those blends of any kind. Like, so for me, I love the house plants, but the garden plants, like I'd be the one to bring in garden plants like that Malabar spinach. I mean, it's kind of like the mix of both worlds. So it's a pretty beautiful plant to look at, but it also has a gardening purpose as well, and bringing stuff like that inside, or growing your tomatoes inside, or your lettuces inside and out of your aquariums and stuff like that. Well, not the tomato, but lettuce will work.
And that's a whole other hobby in itself, which is hydroponics.
Aquaponic, yeah. Or for the tanks, it would be aquaponic, but yeah.
Okay.
Or a mix thereof. I guess it depends on how you set it up.
Like I said, the algorithm throws me all these. I do just kind of. All of a sudden, I'm starting to see all these things where people are growing, like you said, lettuces in a bog filter on top of their aquarium, and they're using the waste from the fish to try to grow these plants. But so
you can float them on styrofoam.
Oh, okay.
Do like little holes in the a styrofoam tray, and grow stuff just right in the little styrofoam as it's floating on top.
So let me ask you this: since you're in the plant business, are there plants that you can pick up at a local hardware store that are aquatic plants, but they're just being grossly immersed? And are the names different, or you can still find them as Rotala, Luigia, stuff like that?
There's a lot more of them than I even know about.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you can. Pothos being one of them. I mean, you're not going to be able to grow it submerged. Some people like to say that I like to say that I did too in the beginning, but after 3 months, every single one of those stems and leaves is going to go yellow and start falling off. But so growing it out of a tank works really well. Also, some of the Bacopas, moneyworts, you can get those at nurseries. You can get those at big box stores. In fact, I have some right here that I bought at our local nursery and that I've had in a escape of mine, and I had to trim it, so I took the pieces that I trimmed and stuck it in one of these cups that I hang in the aquarium, my 29 gallon, and grow it there. So I can grow this one in the jar terrariums and stuff like that. Any type of immersed growth, or not even immersed, and just in a jar with soil that's keeping the moisture in. Or I can plant this inside the tank and it will do just as well. And I actually have that exact same plant. I don't know if, nope, it's not showing it. Let's see if I can get it too. Yeah, you can see it. This whole section right here, that's what that is.
Okay.
So you can, and I got it, like I said, from one of our local nurseries. It was the Springtown Garden Center. They get new shipments in, oh gosh, like twice a week. So we're always keeping up with what they've got up there and what they've got going on. So they get some pretty neat stuff and some local stuff as well. And then they'll reach out and branch out for other things too. But yeah, there's absolutely a lot of them. To answer the question, yes, there's a lot of them that you can buy anywhere that have multiple applications and or all applications. So,
Yeah, the other thing that I've always wondered is because I do have some shallow, well, not shallow tanks, but they're smaller tanks. They're like 10-gallon
mhm.
tanks,
Yeah.
and I typically get like some of the stem plants kind of growing a little bit out immersed, but I guess they don't have enough of a support system that'll stay erect and continue to grow. A lot outside of the tank. But usually it's like
Mhm.
at least an inch and a half that I get them to grow out. Now, if I were to take those trim them, can I put those into dirt and start growing them immersed, or is it a different process to be able to take submerged plants? Because I know the opposite can be done. You take immersed, put them in the water, and it'll grow new leaves. But can you do the opposite? Can you bring them out of the water and make them immersed?
You can.
Okay.
I have. Um, oh man, it's tough though. The first time I did it was completely by chance. So it was some Ludwigia that I had been completely inside of the tank, and I threw it on a log that was in one of my ponds,
Okay.
just to draw some other life in. Hey, there's some plants over here, to kind of put it on display. Yeah, it grew roots and started growing into the log just because the log was moist. There was no part of it that was actually in the water at all. It just took the moisture from the log and did its thing. I don't think it's going to be that easy with all plants because they phase. Oh, I'd love to be able to take y'all outside and show y'all this. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I was talking to Stephen P about it one day. I'd shown it on a short, and he was asking if it was, I think, the submerged form of mermaid weed. And I was like, no, it's this other thing. I ended up looking it up. It's a type of hygrophila, I believe. Oh, why can't I remember? But anyway, when I got it, the leaves looked like mint leaves. It's just really weird. They were rounded, more rounded, elongated. By the way, I completely agree with you, Rico, on pulling the stem out and then just letting the roots get into the water on the pothos.
Yeah, that's exactly the way I've been able to propagate it, and it is growing crazy. I
Yeah.
started in one 10-gallon tank on my top row of breeding tanks, and
Uh-huh.
it's probably four tanks down now. The one stem just keeps extending out,
Yeah,
and
for
I don't
sure.
know where it'll end.
For sure. But yeah, this plant, like I said, real small, and it was fuzzy, like really fuzzy leaves on it as well, real round, kind of almost spade shaped, but more like a mint, kind of like a rounded mint plant, like your Bacopa caroliniana, or moneywort, like the moneywort that I showed you. Very similar leaf structure to that, being part of, I think those are part of the mint family as well. Now that it's shed and come back, the leaves look completely different on it. It's a completely different structure, a completely different look. They're not fuzzy anymore. They're more flat. So there's definitely going to be that time in between from when you go from immersed to submersed, or from submersed to immersed, of that in between on a lot of these. I've done it with Anubias. I've done it with microswords. I've done it with Rickia, even the floating moss stuff.
Okay.
And I've even all of these plants, not just immersed, but in terrarium style tanks, where you just keep the moisture level up, but the roots aren't actually sitting in water. I will say, if you do it with Anubias and you do have exposed roots that aren't like, I don't want to say to plant your Anubias, because I'm against planting your Anubias in the substrate, because too many people will want to put the actual rhizome part down into the substrate. But you can get away with doing the root structures themselves if you leave like a gap. So like a gap between, and it doesn't have to, but it'll just increase the oxygenation if you leave a gap between the substrate where the rhizome is, and then there's a section where the roots are. And then just like put a couple rocks or something around it to keep it from falling over. But you can do it that way in the substrate. That's what I've done in some of the terrarium scapes that I have, and then I've also got it to where they're just dry and they're just kind of resting there. But if you do it that way to where they're dry, you better have an atomizer in there or have a spray bottle handy, and at least 2 to 3 times a day if it's warm in the area. So
Yeah, Lady Rorschach's asking if you know she's got some is it Sabrina clippings that she's trying to save, and she's wondering if she could propagate them on one of our aquariums.
I'm not familiar with that.
And do you know they release toxins to the fish? See, I hadn't really considered that toxin stuff. I just take.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know what this is.
Okay.
Yeah, wandering Jew.
Hmm.
Or inch plant.
Oh, is that not being canceled?
Oh man, the first time I saw that, I got a buddy of mine that. Oh, the pigeons just landed on the roof. I've got a metal roof above me, and 10 pigeons just landed on it. I thought the apocalypse was happening. But no, the first time I saw that stuff, I've got a buddy that lives over in Israel, and sent him a picture of that. I was like, "Does this offend you?" He goes, "No." He was like, "Do you really think we're that weak?"
Well, I'm just saying because it seems like everything offends people nowadays.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sure somebody would find a reason that it's offensive to him. Him in particular. No. But no, I know of people that I've seen people grow that out of their aquariums before. That I don't think it releases toxins. It's a type of succulent, right? It really likes a place where it can spread out. I know a lot of times you'll find it in pots, or hanging pots where it'll kind of overhang, but it really doesn't do better surviving with that. It's going to do better surviving almost in like the same conditions that if you would treat a succulent as much as you would an ivy, and that's what this would do great at. It would love to be able to just spread and take over an entire area. Just throw some on the ground and just let it, as long as it's not invasive in your area, of course. Be smart about your plants. But no, I can look that up though. What's up?
Hey,
I bet he knows. Hey, is Wandering Jew inch plant, does it release toxins if you were to grow it immersed or out of the water in the aquarium?
No, Tradescantia don't have toxins. I'm growing some water right out. I'm in the car. I was getting plants. But let me get in the house, fire it up, and we can go. I'm just kind of sketchy right now because I'm all over the place, and I got a snoring dog. Look at this fat. So let me get situated, and I'll be in there in a minute. I'm gonna hop out, and I'm gonna hop back in. I just want to say what's up. I'm here, bro.
Okay.
Real.
I told you,
All right.
man. All right. See you in a bit.
He came in just in time too.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was really excited about doing this, because I just talking to Steve for a little bit. He was just kind of going off, and I was like, wait. As much information as you're putting out there, we need to do this on a live stream.
Yeah.
And save it for that, because we've had that situation where we'll get into this really interesting conversation, and then once we're done, we says, we should do a show about it. We try to bring it to the show, and it kind of loses that momentum because it's regurgitated information again. It's not.
It doesn't have the passion, the fire that it had in the beginning. That fuel.
So we can't recapture that moment. So I cut him off, and I said, no. Let's do the stream on that.
Y'all just need to start doing podcasts, and when y'all call each other and stuff, just start recording that stuff, so that way y'all could do like a podcast style.
If I knew Steve was a little bit more filtered, I guess I would
do it on Rumble. You ain't got to worry about it. You got a green light on Rumble, man.
Oh, yeah?
I've even thought about doing. I'm really considering doing a podcast on Rumble. That's probably not going to be fish related at all.
Well, we'll have to look into it, but just the thing for us is just finding time because we're
Right,
busy.
yeah.
He's doing school and working on his education, which is interesting because he's finally figured out exactly what he's going to focus on. So, which is right up
Mm-hmm.
his alley because this is exactly what we're talking about. Because he kept talking, we kept going back and forth, and I said, "Well, Steve, as much knowledge that you already have on plants, why aren't you majoring in horticulture?" I said,
Right.
why are you trying to do this other stuff?" And it just
Go
never
be the
came.
next Asa Gray or
And it had
H.W. Schultz, the next famous botanist that the whole world will remember for years and centuries to come. Oh, that freaking! I'm gonna be washed out, but this breeze feels good. Oh.
And so I told him, I said, what are you doing? You wanted to do something with like concierge and hospitality. I was like, dude, that's not you. I'm sorry, dude. I'm your friend. I love you, but you're just gonna spend you throwing your money away. I said, you need to go and talk about this damn. Either become an ecologist or become a horticulturalist, something. I said, but you got to be. I mean, you just know way too much.
He
Not
could
to
still
take
do
advantage of it.
he could still do the hospitality stuff. Just tell him to run some B&B on the side. Do some
Well,
Airbnb on
no,
the side.
that's kind of what I told him.
Just like some crazy luxurious Airbnb.
And but anyways, and so now that he's gotten a little bit more focused, I can tell that he's firing up and passionate
Yeah.
about what he's doing.
Getting
So
fired up.
oh yeah, and so that's all. That's the other reason why I was kind of like, dude, let's put this information out there, man.
Yep.
He's always kind of, I wouldn't say selling himself short, but people don't realize the worth of the world of knowledge that he has. I mean, it's just I'm very fortunate that I can pick up the phone and just call him up and that he'll answer any questions or the
Mm-hmm.
typical thing. And he'll tell you, I'm always at the store and I'm snapping pictures and I'll send it to him. I said, can I grow this out in my tank? And he just laughs. He goes, yeah, no, or that'll be a little bit more difficult or whatever. He goes, you can grow
Mm.
anything in the water. You just got to know what you're doing. So I was like,
Yep.
oh, okay. And, but
Yeah,
that's
I
like
got
a,
laughed at by him one time. I'd messaged him and asked him about a specific type of tree. And he just started laughing. He was like, "Boy, you live up there in Clay area, Texas." He was like, "Red dirt, Clay, Texas." He was like, "Just dig you a hole and put it in there, and that's all you need." He was like, "They grow in that area like mesquite trees." He was like, "Just think of it that way." I was like, "Oh." I was like, "It's that easy?" But yeah, no, he's a freaking wealth of knowledge, absolute wealth of knowledge.
but so that's kind of like what I was trying to figure out because why not take some of the immersed plants and grow them either I was thinking of potting them and just kind of growing them up above so
Mm-hmm.
you have that effect that the plant's not only growing in the tank but it's also coming above and
Yeah.
beyond and just kind of give that image because the only thing is because when I've tried letting them grow by themselves out, they don't stay erect for very long. After about an inch and a half, they'll fall over, and
Yeah.
just because there's nothing to keep them up. So I was trying to figure out a way to do that where I can, because or
Yeah, I've got
start
that
buying.
same issue with this plant that's growing right here in front of the this painting. That's actually from down here in the aquarium. It's the that Hygrophila coriambosa that's growing way up out of it. I'm lucky to have like this piece of driftwood that kind of goes back there and holds part of it up, and then the light that's across it is kind of holding part of it up. So and then on the other side there's a rock, so it's got like 3 points of contact in different areas where it's just holding it up. And if it not been for that, it'd be like what you were saying, all of my other ones just fall over.
Although on Instagram, I started seeing, I guess, with the advent of 3D printers, I'm starting to see people that are making like these little holders.
Yeah.
But most of that is to be able to grow uh, immersed plants with the roots in the water.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be too hard to be able to figure out some stuff that would allow you to hold these steps to be able to continue to grow vertically.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you could even do like I did. I made a plexiglass top for that tank that
Oh,
has the Malabar spinach on it,
yeah.
and just drilled holes so that way I could use those cups. These right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just set it right down in there, and it's not even fully submerged in the water. It's just the very bottom, like bottom 3/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. It's submerged in water.
Well, I just realized, talking about this, speaking out loud, I could probably take some light diffuser, that milk crate,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and attach it to the back of the aquarium so it forms like a lattice, and probably start attaching some of these immersed plants.
Into
Kind of,
each little hole. Yeah.
well, and not just figure out a way to be able to, clip it on there so that it has some support and it continues to grow. I don't know how tall those plants will get though. Do you have
Oh,
any
yeah.
idea how tall these plants get?
Some of them get really tall.
Do they?
Yeah, I've got Val that's
Well, yeah,
4 or 5 foot. This Hygrophila is I've had it up to 3.5 foot so
Okay.
far. I mean, it's as tall as my legs are. I was just like, goodness, come on. So yeah, some of them will definitely get tall. Ludwigia will do the same thing. It's just it won't grow up out of it unless it has, like what you're talking about, unless it has a way to attach to grow out of it. It won't do it. It would just lay over.
Yeah. So I guess
But
just trying to do I suck at DIY.
no, the light diffuser that you're talking about, that's a great idea. Like putting it on the back and letting
Yeah.
those like plants that would normally just fall over, letting them kind of work their way up it like a trellis.
Yep. And that's what I was just kind of talking about that, but I don't know.
You'd
I
actually
just
see some of them flower.
Oh, okay. So
Like
do
if you
all
did swords, you'd
Yeah.
actually see your swords flower, because as far as I know, there's only like one or two type of swords that will actually flower.
inside the water?
Yeah, submerged in the water. I think that's the Amazonicus major. Is actually, I think that's the only one that I've heard of that does it, is the major. But you immerse them, and the inflorescence, the stigma that holds the rod that holds the little babies, the propagates on it,
Yeah.
it becomes a flowering piece rather than the piece that just puts off the baby sword plants on it. You'll see it flower instead. So submerged, it'll throw baby swords off. Out of the water, it'll throw the flowers off,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool.
I'm trying to send Steve the link for the screen. That's why I'm kind of looks like I'm. If it looks like I'm staring at to the abyss, it's because I'm looking at the other screen.
Mhm.
There he goes. Hopefully he can get it. 'Cause I
Sweet.
don't remember what the code was to be able to get in here. We share the access to this StreamYard, but trying to
It's
remember what the code was.
yeah, yep, for sure.
Oh wait, never mind. I can do that here. Is it? No, never mind.
You know,
Start
doing all this stuff is something that I really encourage people to. You learn so much more about the plants around you and how to prolong their life. Because say there's one particular plant that you really, really like that's in your tank, and you want to work a new tank and have a lot of just that in particular plant. If you know the best ways to propagate it and the tricks and tips from all of your prior trial and error, or from other people's knowledge or whatever, being able to see all of these different forms of the plant is really interesting. I think it brings a lot more, I can't think of the word right now, a lot more enthusiasm basically to the hobby personally for you,
Yeah.
or to at least that side of it, that niche of it, the plants.
Oh, okay. I guess Lady Rorschach is working on a snail structure. Oh, sculpture. I need to learn how to read. I was reading structure because we're talking about building stuff, but it's a sculpture for today's auction.
Oh, the auction on Skippers.
Yep.
Yeah, nice.
It sucks because I'm going to be at work, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to really be able to watch and pay attention. But it's probably a good thing because I end up spending money that I probably shouldn't spend
Right.
anyways. Under the it's Father's Day, so it's my Father's Day gift. Everything's my Father's Day gift this
Yeah,
week.
see, we've us guys, we've got that excuse. We've got that excuse today. Why'd you spend money?
It's
It's
Father's Day.
Father's Day. The same inflection on both of us too.
It's
It's
Father's Day.
Father's Day.
I was watching a meme that I thought was so funny. It was even though it's in Spanish, it just translates to English because there's two guys, two friends, and they're having a couple of beers, and he asks one of them asks the other one. He goes, What are you getting for Father's Day?" He goes, "Probably nothing because they haven't asked me for money yet." And I was
Yeah.
laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's see. Let's see. Still waiting for that code.
Yeah, I may go to a disc golf tournament tomorrow. I don't know. My wife was trying to talk me into it. It was her
Where at?
idea.
They're in town or what?
Huh?
In town or where?
Yeah, yeah. Just at I've got a disc golf course here local. That's
Oh,
oh
disc golf.
gosh.
Okay, I was thinking golf clubs and
Oh
golf
no,
balls.
I haven't played that in so long. That would be horrible. I definitely wouldn't be doing a tournament. I used to play ball golf a lot. I had actually gotten pretty decent at it. Then stopped playing. There was only like one guy that would play, and every time he wanted to hit the links, it was this little crappy 9-hole course. And I was like, man, let's go to a real golf course.
Yeah, no, I tried it for a while, but it was more for the get together and hang out with the guys than
Hmm.
because I was not a very good golfer.
Yeah, disc
I,
golf's the same way. It's the fellowship.
yeah, I guess Steve finally made it in. I don't know what he's doing,
Mhm.
but anyways, so once Steve gets up here, we can probably um, answer some of those questions that I had. Unless, but he's muted.
Yo,
There you are.
what's up?
Not much. Well, we're waiting on you. What do you mean? What's
Can you
up?
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So sorry about that. Life happens. Jorge, you know what
Yeah, I
time
know.
it is.
Yep.
It happened. So the last thing I heard you say was the Tradescantia, the Wandering Jew.
Yeah.
So it has a lot of different names. So I guess that'd be a good place to start, right?
Yep.
Hmm.
Hey, Kenny.
And a lot of different ways that people like to think they know how to grow
Well,
it properly too.
more than anything else, I guess what Steve is alluding to is just the terminology. Because I was asking Steve, I said, okay, I know that when you start talking about aquatic plants, we have stem plants, we have rhizome plants, we have floating plants. I said, when you come to and I know that's not the correct terminology, house plants, but I said, is there some similarities that translate from aquatic plants to terrestrial plants or immersed plants? And Steve was saying, what was it that you were telling me?
Of the different types of plants.
Yeah, that you wanted to break it down and talk about
Yeah.
terminology,
So
some
yeah.
basic
So
basic.
yeah. Um. So like when we started trying to figure out how we were going to approach this topic, since it is such a broad and vast topic, I
What
like
up, Kenny?
to simplify things to the lowest common denominator. And the best way to do that is you can't have a conversation with somebody about anything contextual if they don't know what the hell you're talking about. And I see this a lot in the hobby, and it's more so because of social media. We can communicate more freely, and people use words, they use terms, they say things, and it just gets regurgitated. But I don't think anybody ever takes the time to go do like a short Google search or study for, a couple hours a week to understand what it is these words that they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when the problem with that is people attach their egos and shit to something that ain't got nothing to do with them. It's just growing plants and keeping fish. You know what I'm saying? Like, if any of this can be attributed, like, personally, well, you should probably seek counseling and not try to learn how to grow fucking plants. So, with that being said, let's look at some terminology of plants. So, the first word that I hear a lot of people talk about or they say a lot is cultivar. What is a cultivar? Anybody want to kind of throw something in the chat? Like a cultivar. Tommy, what do you got? What's a cultivar to you?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said a
Quiz
name
time.
that started with an R. That would be any plant that. Shit, no, dude. I don't know. I'd just be guessing just by the root wording of the name. That's how I figure stuff out. It's like, how would it be broken down into Greek? Can be cultivated, or
Yeah.
designed to be cultivated.
Basically, so a cultivar is a human engineered type of plant. And it has been selectively bred for whatever trait, but it does not occur in the wild. So, a prime example would be Anubias. Okay, so you have Anubias nana, right? And then
Yeah.
you have Anubias nana. Everybody's fisting to say petite, but y'all got me fucked up.
Very
Variety
fun.
Cophifolia. It is
Yeah.
a variety of Anubias nana. The
Mm-hmm.
golden is also a cultivar. The nana
Yeah.
petite, yes. Bags, it is a cultivar.
Yeah. There's a
Pinto
lot of
is a
varietals.
cultivar.
Yeah.
They're all cultivars of Anubias nana. Now, you have a different species of Anubias, so you get into stuff like Fraseri, Afzeli, so on and so forth. Those types. And that's low key ballpark difference between a cultivar versus a species of plant. So the species is Rotala or Anubias or whatever. That's the species. But I promise you, boo boo, you're not going to find Anubias nana petite pinto growing in the wild. Number one,
Some of
the
that chili
variegation comes
pangolino.
from a genetic mutation. Okay, that's what it is. It's an exploitation of that. A plant, the leaves of a plant's sole purpose is to photosynthesize, moving sugars and waters to create energy.
Mm-hmm.
It stores the energy in its roots so that it can fruit, flower, bear seed. Or I said that that was not in order, but so it could do those things. All right. Now, that's just it. If you can remember that ballpark moving forward with plants, you're good. Straight up. So that was the first one I wanted to jump on was cultivar. And it's just one of the ones like plants, aquatic plants, okay? I'm trying to tell y'all the right way. Aquatic plants is a niche thing, number one.
Okay.
Number two, I'm just gonna spill the beans. I don't give a fuck. The majority, and I want y'all to see my face. Ugly, it don't matter. The
Weeds.
majority, the majority of aquatic plants that are aquarium suitable are on the USDA noxious weeds list. All right. So you got some people way smarter than all y'all YouTube idiots who know that, and they sell cultivars of plants. Pink flamingo don't come from the wild, boo. Neither does Rotella Hara or Super Red Mini or any of this other silly shit that y'all argue about and want to eviscerate people on discords and shit. Yeah, you. So, like, do we need to call him out, or because I'm turned up anyway? But
let me ask you.
Let me ask you. Okay. Go ahead.
Let me ask you something, Steve. So if I, and this is just something that's just kind of coming to me right now, but I don't know if it's correct or not. When you start talking about aquatic plants that are high requirement plants, that they need high light, does that really mean that plant was not really designed to be submerged? So that's why you got to inundate it with light to be able to keep it alive? And it was supposed to be more something that's supposed to be on the margins.
Let's get into that.
Okay.
Yeah, we can get into that. So, without understanding plant morphology and like how plants were designed to operate, it is kind of intimidating. It's kind of confusing to people. You dig? So, what Jorge's talking about when he's talking about these high care requirement plants, what he's talking about is there's specific types of aquatic plants, okay? And they're not aquatic to the extent of they live in water. You have a handful of plants that can complete their full life cycle underwater. A handful. I know Blixia is one of them off the top of my head. Val will do it as well. And it flower, fruit, seed, everything underwater. There's a handful. The majority of plants that we keep are amphibious riparian plants. That's the aquatic vegetation. That's what the aquatic flora would mostly comprise, is amphibious riparian type plants. So everything that is photogenic for social media, like so all the shit that everybody's going nuts over, trimming and all that silly shit, all that stuff is riparian amphibious. And the amphibious part is subjectable at best because the inundations vary in the zones. So, dude, it's so hard to like talk about this without nerding out too hard. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just staying on the tip end of it, because like I'm about to just teach a fucking class. Fuck it.
I'm totally okay with nerding out completely on plants.
I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta look at my notes because life happened and my brain was on. Like I was gonna flex and shoot it from the hip and talk that good shit, call a bunch of people out, tell them my address because I am ready to whoop somebody's ass. I'm not playing. You got people dropping out the hobby. You got people donating their stuff. Like really? We talking about plants.
QC.
I'm that dude. Like I'm not fuck that. I will give you my address. And because I'm a nice guy, I will let you choose. You want to fly Spirit or you want to ride Greyhound? And I will meet you and we can handle this shit. Because I belong to a tribe. It's called Shake My Hand or Whoop My Ass. This is empirical data that has nothing to do with anybody's egos. And if you didn't contribute to the shit in a scholarly way, we wouldn't have to ask if that was the case. Shut the fuck up. Done. Now let's talk about plants. Like, I'm so sick of it, bro. Like, for real. I can't even enjoy anything anymore. So, we're talking about the
Steve
plant.
found my plant videos, so he's really mad at me about them. He's like, what is this crap?
Let's look at like a lake, right? A typical floodplain. And let's say like we make a cross section of it. So this is the river, right? And we're gonna cut it in half. All right. you got a valley, and it just goes all the way down to its lowest point. But this could literally compass feet, yards, miles, hundreds of miles. You feel me?
Yeah.
I.e., the Rift Lake formations, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got this geographical occurrence, you dig? And love finds a way. That's my motto. The different niches develop, but we are still talking about an aquatic biotope. When people build dams and change courses of waterways, like California, right?
Yeah.
California had a drought, and they were bitching about the drought. Then it started raining, and then almost like washed the whole damn state away. But because they've done so much to the waterways in that state that it's gonna flood. So that's what I'm talking about. Like if you hear on the news how they'll say you got a 50-year flood stage, 25-year, 100-year flood stage, et cetera, et cetera. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So nature don't know Jim Cantori, but they do know that if I'm gonna grow here, I need to be able to sustain myself underwater. And I don't know if it's going to happen today, tomorrow, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 100 years from now. But if it floods, I need to be able to sustain myself. Obviously, the closer you live to the water, the more genetic sacrifices you're going to make to be able to live closer to the water. So keeping that in mind, that's the majority of plants that we keep in the hobby. They're going to fall into the amphibious, riparian, aquatic flora category. All right. Now, the pertinence of immersing this and merging hobbies, knowing that is this. If I know that plants are in a 25-year stage, a 15-year flood stage, etc., then I know different ways I can manipulate them, and I know different ways I can apply them to my setups and incorporate them. One of the easiest things you can do to get houseplants growing in your tank is just to use the method of water propagation. Okay? Now, I'm a green thumb. Okay? Like that, I grow. And I have been doing it for a long time. Like forever, my whole life. I kind of consolidate shit. You feel me? Because I'm like, well, shit, I'm finna propagate these trimmings anyway. These would make a nice little plant. Maybe I can give one to my auntie or something. Or somebody, gift it. And you never can have too many props. So instead of loading up my whole house with jars and test tubes and just ghetto looking shit, sometimes I consolidate, and bro, they ain't nothing better than the HOB for water propagation. You got oxygenated, moving, nutrient dense water.
Yep.
You want to talk about something good to propagate plants in, like
Mm-hmm. Or germinate
if you
the
can
seeds
fabricate
in.
that to scale, you grow a shitload of weed like that. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Like if you could fabricate just the HO to scale to where you got the intake, so coming in, going out, that is literally hydroponics, bro.
Well,
It
isn't that what a bog filter is?
essentially what a bog filter is. It just uses the principle of gravity and multi-step filtration. Let me clarify that shit. Multi-step. There ain't no damn steps. Everything that the water passes through that removes an impurity is a fucking step. All right? A sponge, that's a step. Purigen, that's a step. Bio balls, that's a step. Ceramic rings, that's a step. So if I put all them in the same filter, guess what? I got 4-step fucking filtration. It's not rocket science. Y'all gotta really stop this shit. Y'all should have got more hugs when y'all were kids, bro. Just ruined the hobby. I'm gonna keep bitching about it. Your 30 seconds of discomfort ain't got shit to do with me because I've been bitching about this shit for 20 fucking years. And now it's starting to catch because people are getting tired. Because COVID happened and we had this influx of idiots who thought they could just pull up, fuck shit up. And like when the delusion, like all this grandiose shit went away, we're left with what I said. Go look, warriorplantains.com. A lot of motherfucking fish tanks on Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, don't you know? Like that's where that's at. So water propagation is probably one of the best ways to incorporate and merge two hobbies. Because I'm gonna show y'all something. I had an orchid, and an orchid puppy is called a Kiki. Okay? And I broke it off because I ain't gonna lie, I kind of neglected that one. It was a bullshit grocery store orchid. And because it had like 3 Kikis on it, I knew I was gonna get my ROI anyway. I got 4 plants for the price of 1. So I got it at HEB. Anyway, the little cocoa, they put them in these little cocoa coir pods, and it's trash. The roots can't breathe like they need to, and I should have repotted it, but I didn't. And long story short, it's an epiptite. It wasn't able to get nutrients, and it like rotted away. But the kikis on the stem, it isn't a epiptite. They were still good. You see what I'm saying? So I put it in my shrimp bowl. Let me go grab it right quick. I'm gonna show y'all. Because I was like, fuck, if it's gonna die, it's gonna die. Throw this bitch in, see if I can water prop it real quick. Because, like, the orchid don't know if it's me and it got bought at HEB or if it's a goddamn jaguar or something somewhere going through the bushes and it knocked it off and it fell in a puddle. And, you know, got doing the thing. You know what I'm saying?
Adapt and overcome.
So I'm testing a theory. Hold on, let me go grab it.
All right.
You're right, man.
Yeah, but
I think that's a lot of the fun in this too. Is you know the new experiments and trying to figure out, will it work? Will it work? Is it safe? Because it forces you to do all of the research.
Oh shit! It worked.
That
It
was
worked.
one of the
It
things.
worked. It worked. It
That was
worked.
one of the things that I was asking Steve. I said, I thought
It worked.
orchids
It worked.
couldn't. I thought orchids
It worked.
couldn't
It
grow in
worked.
water.
It worked. Holy shit! It worked. Damn, it's got roots. Okay, cool. So y'all can see the duckweed on there, so you know I ain't bullshitting you. It was like in the thing. Like, it's duckweed all along.
Duckweed is the aquarium's lie
There you
detector
go.
test.
So anyway, and it's wet too. But it was on a stick. Here's the stem that's rotting away. This, and I'm letting the shrimp eat it. And then the little clamp. This is like exactly how I bought it from HEB. Shit you not. And I stuck this kiki in the water. And the son of a bitch is rooting. I'm about to go ahead and throw this in some old sphagnum moss. And I got me another orchid. See, I forgot what color the bitch is too. I think it's purple. I don't remember. Yeah. Yes, plants make us serene. Dick. Like, it's people. It's people. I'm cool until I interact with other human beings. But yeah, you got a point. But yeah, let me close my camera so y'all don't have to see my fat ass. And we can continue our lesson.
Before you take
Hey,
off,
drum
so
up
that
some more
plant,
questions.
So that plant,
I'm listening.
you couldn't continue to grow it in water because eventually the roots will rot. Is that why you got to pull it out and put it on stagnant moss, or can you continue to grow it out in just water? There he went.
I ain't gonna lie. I've seen people like growing orchids in nothing but like rocks and shit. It's an epiptite.
No, I'm not talking
You know
about.
the
I'm not talking about
marbles out
rocks. I'm not talking about rocks. But could you continue to grow that in water forever? Is that yes or no?
No,
Okay.
no. It's not. It has to go through periods of dryness and intense
Okay,
moisture
got it.
because bacteria set in and it'll rotten it. You know what I'm saying? It'll start to eat it.
Yeah.
The way that it works with the jars and shit is because the roots, some of them roots are exposed to air. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
And it creates like a little, I guess, vacuum chamber, like ecosystem up in there. Hold on, let me throw this back in there and wipe my hands off.
Yeah. What I started doing is
There we
coming
go.
around because recently at the office they bought some plants, and I started taking some trimmings, some clippings from those plants, and I've got a bunch of different. I got and I don't know if it's going to work. One of them's a money tree, or what they call money tree. I don't know the actual name of it. And I've got it growing in the. I've stuck it in the hang up back filter, and the other one is it's what was it? I think it was like a different variation of a pothos because it looks variegated.
I like
And
the pothos, man. A lot of people just like say that that's just everybody's got it and they want to go with something else other than that. But it is such a good plant to have, and its ability to oxygenate and how easy it spreads. It's perfect. And it grows really slow, so it's really easy to manage too.
yeah,
What is
so
it?
Pothos?
Oh, pothos?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you want to talk about pothos? Okay, we can talk about pothos. Let me go over some. Let me finish these plant terminologies real quick.
yeah.
I'm just gonna do a handful. It's on. It's on freaking. I'm seeing first class's comment.
Oh,
Oh, I wasn't trying to answer your question, first class fish. I was just because he was talking about
Yeah,
epiphyte,
for
so I
the
was just
tissue
giving a
culture.
definition of what it is.
Right. So, real quick, I'm gonna just shoot off these
The rhizome.
yeah.
plant terms.
And just so that people understand, I knew going into this topic it wasn't something we were going to be able to fit in an hour
Right.
and a half.
The
So
back
this is going to be something that will be
Yeah,
revisited.
this is continuing.
Yeah.
We're rolling. So we're just doing terminologies and a little bit of mything, like comments. So look, we're gonna keep having conversations about plants. But listen to me, y'all. If y'all ain't up to speed, I'm gonna get you up to speed first and lay down a foundation for y'all so that we can all have a conversation about plants and enjoy it. I ain't with that gatekeeper shit like the rest of these retards. So the first term that I want to talk about is the word blade. Blade, if you hear that word blade, it literally means leaf.
Okay.
All right. It is the thin, flattened, conspicuous part of the plant, or part of a leaf. So you got petiole, you got spathe, you have bract, inflorescence, and spadix. Okay. All those are modified forms of leaves.
Okay. So
All
it's
right.
just the shape of the leaf. Is that what
Right.
it's describing?
With the exception of the inflorescence is, of course, the flower
Okay.
in its anatomy. The flower has parts too, but the inflorescence, when you hear the word inflorescence, you know that they're talking about the flower and not the modified leaves. I'm going to give you an
Hmm.
example of a modified leaf.
Okay. That
Poinsettia. Oh, go
okay.
ahead.
No, I was going to say for a modified leaf, is that considered under what they call the Swiss cheese, the plants that have all the holes in them?
Those are that's a phenotype. That's just
Okay.
how the plant grows.
Okay.
Okay, we're talking about like biology. So, like if a plant was a person,
Yeah.
and this stuff is not interchangeable. That's why first class fish. That's why I'm turned up because you got all these fucking idiots on YouTube talking shit like they know something, and I've been taking my black ass to fucking college forever, in school and reading books and everything else. You know, with my antisocial self. So, like, nah, bruh. We not finna do that. I can intellectually spar with any of you motherfuckers, and I got the paperwork to back it up, even though I don't need it. So, think of plants like if it was a person and you were in anatomy class, you know, and you got fingers, elbows, joints, You know, you got your, you know, different anatomy, you know, your male parts or whatever. So be it.
Hmm.
Cool. Same thing with plants. These are their body parts if they had a body. See what I'm saying? So, like I said, it's petiole, spade, bract. Those are modified blades, which is another word for a leaf. Different, different leaf forms do different functions. So people think, well, when it's a leaf, it's getting sun, it's photosynthesizing. That's not necessarily the case. Some of those leaves have modified to perform specific functions in
Mm-hmm.
facilitating the life cycle of said organism, plants in this case. So we're not gonna go too like hardcore biology, but that one I know is a lot. People say that a lot. Like I see some of these bitch ass motherfuckers on here uh talking shit about history and aquariums and shit, and they just be on Google repeating shit. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. You shouldn't have did it. So let me stop. So anyway, those are those ones for that specific. You know, motherfucker throw a word out there, and it's like, okay, okay, finish, but they don't because it's just like a buzzword to sound cool. If I say this shit, you know what I'm saying? Like if I say, you know, dioecious or like I don't know, I can't even think of a word, bro. Because all this shit's so innocuously stupid. It's just biology. What's a word? I don't know. I can't think of one. If I say stamen and then I say crown, I'm gonna win the day. I'm gonna get all the bitches. Like, no, bro. Stop. Stop. So that's that for the leaves. Crown. I did say crown. What is a crown?
The crown is the top of the plant or the flower or what?
The crown is.
You would think
I'm
it's the
sorry,
top
girl.
just on the name.
Here, I'm gonna use this as an example. But look, that right here.
Oh,
This
the
is
bottom part or
this
the
is the
roots.
crown. So
Where it
where?
connects, yeah.
So basically, look, like that fucking movie Da Vinci Code, the
Yep.
Vitruvian Man, where he's all like this.
Yep.
All right. When you think of the crown, it's like the root chakra, right? If you're into that kind of stuff. So as above, so below, right? So
Okay.
the crown is where the top goes up and the bottom goes down. That's the split. That
Okay.
is the crown. So
So I
like
get
if somebody says don't bury the crown, or when you hear like in plant care, that is used a lot, that word crown. Well, I mean, what the hell is that? That part right there. And understanding that is you already know. And understanding that helps you when you plant stuff. Um what's another buzzword that is used a lot? Um Tommy or Jorge, either one of y'all.
uh oh, this is not a buzzword. This is me trying to understand. When I go to the stores, they have the plants separated by perennials and annuals. And
Oh, good. Fan fucking tastic. All right, I'm gonna give you a textbook definition of both because this is we trying to teach, and like I don't want to do nobody wrong and
so,
or be a
based off
hypocrite.
of that, does that only exist on immersed plants, or do we have submerged plants that are also perennials and annuals? What's
Oh no.
okay?
No.
Okay.
Plants.
Well, answer the first question then,
Yeah,
because I'm
plants.
asking too many questions.
No, you good. This is perfect. Plants. Okay, this is how it works. A perennial is a plant that lives for more than 2 years.
Okay.
All right. An annual, as far as horticulture is concerned, is a plant that you have to replant every year or every growing season. Thus, based on that, let's do some science now. Let's get smart. Based on what the fuck I just said, based on this definition, aquarium plants are what? Mostly perennial.
Perennial.
I would say 85 to 95% perennial. Damn near. Low key, all of them. But I'm not going to, I don't know. But, yeah.
If it's one that spreads easy, it's definitely a perennial.
Like, every plant that we going to put in an aquarium is a perennial. Hands down. You not finna go and do your violas and your petunias and your marigolds and all that shit every year in your aquarium. Aquascapers do that shit, but that's money, that's business. We talking about just horticulture in general. Okay, so that's the difference between annual and perennial. And in layman's terms, understand that, yes, a large majority, damn near all of them, are perennial. All right, what you got, Jorge?
No, that and well, you answered both questions because it was the difference between perennials and annuals and
Rise on.
What about I got for you submersed form, immersed form. We were hitting on that before you were here, and I'd love to hear your more in-depth thoughts on that. I was kind of hitting on because Jorge had asked about knowing about or was talking about plants going from immersed to submersed. Or submerged, but there's not much talk about going in the opposite form from the submerged to the immersed back to that. And he was asking about the process along with that. And I was talking about, as far as I got, was that you're going to have different leaf structures, and the plant's going to regrow obviously from one way to another. So you've got to allow for the time of that to happen and be patient with it. But I haven't done, there isn't a lot of them that I've done. I mean, I've done maybe like 5 plants, switched them out from submerged to immersed, like Anubias, Microsword, Rickia, Ludwigia, things like that. The easy stuff.
Yeah, it was real. Basically, the gist is if I go right now and I trim some of my Luigia that's in the aquarium, can I take those clippings, put them in soil, and it will still continue to grow? Or there has to go through a process before that happens.
Short answer. Yeah, you can do it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Here. It's not complicated. Y'all want to be successful growing aquatic plants outside? Remember to add water. Done.
Yeah. A misting system and a shade cloth.
Keep it wet.
That's it. Yep.
Would that be and then putting doing like a little greenhouse where they put a vessel over it to trap the
Not
moisture?
where you are. Not where
I'm
you
sure
are.
you better not tell you. Hold on.
Okay.
If you do a greenhouse style where you are, you're just going to burn the plant
Yeah,
out.
I'm gonna bake it, but
Yeah. I would I would cover it with screen so that way bugs can't get in. Like do a PVC build that's covered in screen so that way no bugs can get in, and then just throw a shade cloth over that thing when it's got direct sun on it. When there's indirect sun, you can leave it on, but just make sure 4 to 5, even up to 6 times a day that either some misters are coming on in a timer, or you're going in there and misting it to keep the systems wet. Because on some of those plants, once the roots dry out and they get to a point where they're too dry, it's going to be a lot harder for them to absorb moisture.
But you know what? It ain't really a secret. But I tell you what, since I don't care about YouTube no more, and I'm just me now, let me catch another one of you motherfuckers taking some shit out and seeing me do, not give me no credit for it, and then try to act like I'm coming on the back end. I'm gonna fuck you up, and that's on real. So here we go. Like, I'm not a little punk ass kid. Like, I'm all the way in my fucking 40s. So miss me with the bullshit. So here we go right here. Look, I got a flower pot. Like, if you gonna sell plants and you growing plants and you don't use flower pots, miss the fuck out of me. Just miss me with that bullshit. Please, thank you, no thank you. Your mom should have swallowed. And I mean that. So this is Rotala. As you can see, it is growing in a flower pot in dirt. And as you can see, that's not a root there, young Tommy. You want to debut your nickname today? So
It's a new plant growing
that
down there.
is a plant. It said, I'm tired of being a root. I think I want to be a plant now. So it just started growing like a freaking plant. Okay, we'll put that back in there. Now up top here, as you can see,
Popping out from the
regular.
bottom like fucking white boy Tommy.
Yep, there he is, white boy Tommy. That's his new nickname. I got Ralph Joe, and now white boy Tommy, Chris and you, the homie. You ain't like the rest of them bitch ass motherfuckers. Amen. Let the church say. So this is Rotala. Straight up Rotala rotundifolia, Rotala indica. Those are both the same fucking plant, by the way.
Oh, they are?
Oh yeah, let's talk about taxonomical synonyms. Okay. So
Wait. Before you get deep in the
a
woods.
taxonomical synonym is basically as biology is evolving. Say what now?
Oh, no. I was saying, before you get too deep in the woods, the question
How to
that first
transition
class.
boost and not have it take 3 years.
Yeah. Do you have any information on that, or have him reach
Dead
out to you
ass.
personally?
Listen. Yes, I'm gonna
We're
show
doing
you
it right now.
Listen.
Oh.
This container. Dollar Tree container. You put
Froze.
growing
freeze.
media. I use crushed lava rock, and gravel you got laying around.
Okay.
That's it. You want low nutrient because, all right. Plus, when you are waiting for the evap, you want to make sure that the algae, which is a simpler organism that can take the free available nutrients, thusly being more successful, more faster. Simple. It's gonna kill the boost. All right. So low nutrient, but you put that in there. You get the top. You poke holes on the top because what you're doing is essentially you make you a little mini greenhouse. Okay, and you can put your boost in there, put the top on it, mist it, put the top on it, and you can treat them like if you were sprouting, I don't know, potatoes or some shit. It's a tuber. The dark makes it grow. So you want dark, you want heat, you want humidity, the low nutrient, and then you slowly start transitioning it into the light. I guess I could go back there and grab a couple rhizomes of some boost that's like wonky looking. Y'all can get the idea.
I've got some growing in one of my
It's
tanks,
already-
like in a very similar setup to what you're talking about right now. That's dry,
Yeah.
not
Well,
water.
mine now it's flooded. It's fully in the water, but it's still
Here, I'll show you.
wonky enough for me to be able to exemplify. You know what I'm saying? What I'm talking about. But in a nutshell, that's what it is. Low key first class. That is
gas
the
gap
next
here.
step. Is making tissue culture a household thing, like to where you can do it with your kids and shit for a little fun project, like playing Monopoly. I'm working the angle on tissue culture, bro.
Yeah. Each
Is
of
it
those
first
dark
class
spots-
like first class petty officer or first class like first class flight?
I don't know. I've always been curious. I don't know if he's a vet.
Make you
Is
the
it
main
like
guy.
first class sergeant too? And I want to be in the.
There you
Army.
go.
Yeah,
Now you can actually
that
see
too.
them.
For you army
Yeah,
weirdos.
each of these.
How do you make Tommy the main guy? There you go.
He already is. He's always been the main guy.
He is. No, it looks good now.
All right, Tommy.
But yeah, that's exactly what's going on here, and I've just barely even got them setting in there. You can see
Oh, okay.
the roots that are on it if it'll focus.
Yeah, we
But
can
yeah,
see
I barely have it in, and I'm growing it. I don't even have it really in the soil. What I have it is, this is that cheap, crappy Amazon short
Seeds?
hair grass seed stuff. Yes, don't put it in your tanks, by the way. But when you're doing stuff like this, it works great because I'm just setting that root right in those plants and letting it sit on it instead of actually sitting it into the soil, so that way it can find the soil itself if it wants it. Same thing like with
So I
potatoes.
see.
Same thing like with
First
potatoes. You
class
got too
question.
much pressure in potatoes, too much pressure in the dirt around the potatoes. You're not going to get very
Right,
much
right, right.
spread. Yeah,
That's the same principle, bro. And if you
But-
want them to hit, get them in the heat and get them dark. And
yeah,
you'll see all those babies they just beef up. Like
Yeah.
it is better. And when I say dark, I don't mean like completely dark. Like for a few days, you can cheat. I ain't gonna lie. For a few days, you can put them in the hot closet, like in the dark, for like 2-3 days. No longer than a week. All right. Don't forget them shits is in there because you're gonna have a funky, nasty mess.
Yeah.
No longer than a week. All right. So to answer your question, first class, water changes everything. The plants respond to the water. Bucapalandra is one of these special plants that, depending on the species, it likes to attach to rocks and hang out. So it's literally getting the shit beat out of it by current all the time, which is another reason that a lot of people have algae problems, is because they're not growing their boosts in sufficient current. A lot of these plants like this, I would liken them to detritivores. All right, hear me out. So as the current is flowing, right, and you got this plant, you got this vascular structure, right, and it's in the water, and it's literally getting the shit beat out of it continuously with water. But at the same time, it's pushing sediment, it's pushing all those nutrients in. The plant is able to thrive off of that. Well, what Boost has learned how to do, if you notice, the rhizome is a root-like structure. Then it has the structural roots, which serve no facilitative properties other than structure. It's just like a stolon or a aerial root on some of your aeroid types, which Bucapalandra is it's an aeroid. So they don't facilitate anything other than a structure and anchor it down. But what they do is they make like a little filigree, like a little mesh, right? So all that fine silt and sand and sediment and shit is getting caught up in those roots and it's locking in. Rhizomes have their roots that can then get those nutrients and feed the plant. It's in that silty water. The current is also facilitating another thing. It is dusting off. It's dusting off the plant continuously, so you don't have that algal growth that you see in the hobby. And I haven't been able to look at it on a molecular level, but I really do know bullshit think there is a synergy between certain species of algae and rhizome type aquatic plants. I know for shit show that certain species of your moss,
Yeah.
Java moss, air quotes, they do develop a kind of a synergistic like a little synergistic. What's that word I'm looking for? Pairing with the boost, like they do. Um, I've noticed like
They
the moss
juxtapose.
is the moss takes up the nutrients that the algae would take up, and it fills that same niche that the algae would fill. But at the same time, it doesn't grow as aggressively as Boost does. So they kind of, it's basically like nature's mulch.
Well,
So
doesn't
where
the
the
moss
moss
help
is
the
growing,
roots as well? Like
um,
specifically on plants like that with root systems like that,
like
wouldn't it
don't
like
quote me on it. I
like a
gotta wait till
mycorrhizal
I
fungi?
finish. Like wait till I get my doctorate, bro. Wait till I graduate. But on a molecular level, I do think that the mosses do have enzymes in them that facilitate a specific function in the nutrient uptake. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. I do
Yeah,
think that
that's
the
first
moss
class.
does that,
That's first class. He's
but
up here
don't quote
showing.
me
Hey
on it.
guys,
I want to see.
Here, let me put
But
him on the
that's
big
exactly what I'm
picture.
talking about.
I have a million questions, but I'll keep it simple for now. Appreciate all the advice. I actually started this a year ago. I ordered TCs from Korean Plants Factory. Now,
Oh wow.
if you can see, it's actually two different plants because it was supposed to be Brownie Ghost 2011, and I'm like,
Huh.
that doesn't really look like it. And some people told me there's no such thing as a Brownie Ghost 2011 TC. So the first one was the rounder leaves here. And I asked them, "Are you sure?" So they sent me these, and obviously that's more of the wavy type. I'm not sure if this focuses well.
That
Um,
looks really good, man. That looks
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
damn good.
thank you.
Hey, I'm gonna
Yeah,
tell you a life hack real quick, bro. It
pardon.
probably piss off your old lady. Go. If there's a heating pad laying around in the house,
Yeah, I thought of that.
go steal it and sit. Yes, go put it on the lowest setting. And if it comes with that cover, that little cover that you can put on there for water and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, slap that bad boy on there and
You
and,
can even
and
make a
watch the magic.
cave. You can make a cave with that heating pad if you've got some hardware cloth. Just lift the
So
hardware cloth
don't
up,
put the
and you can
thing completely
stack.
on there because you don't want to cook it. You just want to put it like if this is the heating pad and this is your bowl, you want to touch it just like this because that heat's going to radiate. You do not want it to be like all hot
You want it to have the ability to
unless you put
disperse.
it on like super low. And I don't
Well,
know, so I don't want to tell you wrong. I'll give you a
maybe
little insurance. Just
maybe
put
I
it
need
on
to
hang.
start growing booths in my garage because the heat is constant in here, and I can make this sucker pitch dark.
I guess one of my main questions was kind of how this like started for me, um, and as far as the tips and how to actually do it and all that, that's awesome, and I'd love to talk to one of you guys in more detail about that. But I guess what what I'm a little frustrated with, no, so I did these. The whole reason I went immersed was because it was TCs, and I had gotten advice that said, it's a easier transition because they're not that strong. Plus, I just wanted to experiment with it, and they were a little bit expensive. So, I found a couple YouTube channels talking about these immersed setups, and actually, I ended up doing just like you said, Warrior. I'm using the little lava rock that, and there's a little bit of fluval stratum in there, and a little bit of water, and then I missed it. Um, but now, as I started getting more into boosts, I bought some others that I didn't have success in the tank. That's another topic that will go on too long, but I think I've got that figured out. A little better anyway, especially now that I have CO2 kind of covers up some sins, I guess as you would say. If things aren't perfect, it helps keep them a little stronger, I think, it seems like. But um, my thing is, so you spent all this time, this is like a year, but now the guy I'm getting like boost
That's
from and
really good
stuff.
for a year, dude.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, just kind of winging it and did pretty well and just kept doing what I
Yeah.
was doing. But I'm just wondering now, what people really want for boosts is the submerged growth. So if I put these in the tank, basically, all these leaves are going to start to change, and you're really going to have to wait for them to fall off and get new growth to see that submerged plant version. I mean, these could end up being a lot more colorful. There's some iridescence over here. It's actually really nice if you get in just the right light, but mostly they're not like super fancy look. I mean, obviously they're healthy and I think they're pretty, but
You
as
know
far as
what though?
yeah,
I'm gonna be honest to you. The way you're growing boost in that bowl, that's how you supposed to glow. Look, I'm gonna be honest to you, man. Fuck that, because I do plants. I go to school for this,
oh no,
for
I hear you.
horticulture.
I'm
So check it
sucking
out.
it up, soaking it up.
Boost, boost is you're doing it the right way. Boost is an aeroid. Low key,
Right.
boost is one of them weird plants to where the horticulture side on the terrestrial side couldn't get a hold of it, and the aquatic side we can run it, but as you know, everybody running CO2, like you got to baby the hell out of it.
Yeah,
The
because
way
in the
you're
wild
growing it
doesn't
right there is how you're supposed. If you want to appreciate it as a specimen,
right.
and I'm not saying that like all the people with the boost tanks is wrong, because I had a fly ass boost tank when I was in Virginia before I moved down here. It's doable, but it's one of those things of putting the information out in a concise, sound, transparent methodology so that the people can make their own choices, so they can manage their expectations accordingly.
Mhm.
What you don't do is give it a cool name like Godzilla or
Right.
Skeleton King or some crazy shit, and some kid spends all their milk money on a fucking plant and only to watch it melt
Right.
in 6 to 8 weeks when you knew that's what was gonna happen when
Well,
you sold
kinda-
it.
A little
You
bit
know?
of that happened to me. A little bit of that happened to me, you know. So that's why I tried.
Mhm.
That's why their stickers ain't on my tanks no more. Just saying.
What's that?
I said that's why their stickers ain't on my tanks no more.
Oh, okay. I don't know
Yeah.
if we're naming names or not, but
I'm just saying. Go look at my videos. You can figure it out.
yeah, no, I'll
Like
check it
you
out.
know, if you know, but it's cool because you got the connect, you got the people in your home country that's got the plug in Borneo, Malaysia. They can rate
Right.
the earth. It's pennies on the dollar. You just fed a family of like 10 with one plant that you sold to some idiot in the States. So,
Well, I want
I
to
mean,
touch on.
it's just the truth of it.
No, I hear you there, and I'm really big on that. That's a complicated issue, but I do want to mention the guys that I buy from now. They're actually working on their own sustainable farm here in the States. They have a bunch of 300-gallon tubs, and now maybe some of the original stuff was not ethically harvested. I don't know, but they're not. They're being very careful about who they get stuff from and all that. Those guys are really great.
Right.
Awesome.
So that's a big issue for because I care about
Well,
that. If I
I'm
won't
going
buy
to say
something
this because it goes along with kind of the last few shows we've had, especially when we're talking about the whitelist. Boost is a very special plant because it's one of those ones where because of the hobby, we got it.
right.
A lot of boosts we probably will never see because of habitat loss and deforestation because of the different palm oil factory. You name them. I'm not trying to sound like fucking Greta Thunberg, but
And think
You
about
know,
how he's having to
they're
grow that
losing
and the
habitat,
chances of
so-
it being in the wild too.
yeah, luckily we got them in the hobby because you ain't gonna find them motherfuckers no more. So
Mhm.
that's why I'm kind of pissy.
PETA
Not
can
pissy, but
suck
turned
it.
up because if we kill out all the
Oh, We
Uh-oh.
lost-
I said the
we lost
magic
it.
word.
yeah.
I agree. There's two sides of that coin, though. It's like when you know something is gonna be extinct anyway, do you grab it and keep it alive, kind of like with fish,
Yep.
or do you? You know, it's a fine line there. You know, if it's
Mhm.
not, if it's definitely not going to be stopped from getting destroyed in the wild, then I kind of agree with grabbing it. But you know,
Yeah.
kind of like zebra plecos and stuff. You know.
Yeah, that, and then that other side being like, is it is it gonna hurt something? Like, is this nature's natural selection? Is this the Earth's
Right.
way of saying, nah, you don't need this, doesn't need to be here anymore. It's
Sure.
not suitable for your life anymore. But yeah, I definitely get it. There's
That's
definitely a
my
line
internet,
on it.
y'all. I'm sorry. We get two clouds
Yeah.
and it drops the signal. I don't have a hard internet. I got that gateway
Oh,
thing, and it's been acting
Hey,
stupid. Or you know,
yeah, Anthony, and also just to for your comment that you have posted earlier about being concerned or asking too many questions. This is the place. This stream is designed for you guys for you guys to ask the questions. You guys drive a lot of the streams that we do with the questions you guys ask. So never
exactly.
ever feel like you're asking too much. On the contrary, it helps Steve and I feed off of that to be able to answer those questions. And
Oh, I
anything,
appreciate
nothing's off the table either.
I appreciate that. You guys are always great. So I'm glad I happened to jump on today.
Oh no, I appreciate the fact, and we encourage people to be part of our streams and come up when we drop the link and stuff like that. Especially if you're gonna ask some serious questions that you want answered.
Yeah,
I know
plus
you're gonna say something. Oh, sorry.
yeah, showing off the boost. It's good for people to see it. I think they always kind of like, oh wow, I can do that. It looks easy, and if I did it, it's easy. So
Like that's
yeah.
that man. That's just cool. Like he asked a question, and I was like, "No, I'm gonna show you. Get one of these. Do this, 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 and this." He was like, "Well, that's what I'm doing." And then he shows it. Look at the pudding. There go the pudding, y'all. That's the difference between that YouTube bullshit I was hollering about a while ago.
Yeah.
That's the pudding right there. Nuance.
Talking your
All the
crap
motherfuckers on
online
the
and
internet lying.
yeah.
Well,
That's the
hopefully
pudding
these
right
kind of-
there. Look at that pudding. Go on and put it on there big. Make it big.
Hopefully when streams like your guys's and when this kind of stuff happens, we won't get into YouTube algorithms and how like the best stuff is often buried. But I really think a large part of the fish family is just awesome. Like learn so much, and everyone, like you mentioned, the gatekeeping. I hate that stuff. You know, I, I'm older than I sound. I'm almost 50, but so
All of our shit stinks.
yeah, I was in the hobby off and on for years, and I just got back into it a couple years ago. And I used to only do fish, and I'm like, man, if I ever get back in the hobby, plants has always wanted to do a plant, and now I'm just addicted. So
That's awesome.
yeah, so finding you guys and all that's been really awesome. So but I'll let you go and let you guys
Yeah,
handle some other stuff. Probably got some questions in chat and stuff that.
well, we're getting ready to wrap it up. We knew coming in that this was going to be an extended topic, and it's going to
Okay.
be one of those topics that's going to probably take a few more episodes to really get into the meats and potatoes of it. This was just a quick overview. Steve could go hours or if not days talking about this stuff because he just is a wealth of knowledge. And I'm really happy that he was willing to do the stream with me because I've learned so much just from doing these streams. Every stream I walk away with some new knowledge. And it's funny because people make assumptions. They look at me being the older guy. They always think that I'm the one that's going to have the most knowledge. But in reality, Steve is the one that has taught me a lot in this hobby. And
a
and
great asset.
once you get past his little rough exterior and you really listen to what he has to say, you're going to walk away with a lot of new information.
That's passion, though. That's passion. So.
That's what it is right there.
Yep.
That's what it is right there.
Yep. All right. Thank you guys
Angel.
so much.
No problem. Thank you,
Have a good
Anthony,
weekend.
for coming
man.
up and
That
sharing
juice
with
look
us.
good, man.
Talk to you soon. Thanks.
All right.
That means a lot coming from you, man. It means I didn't screw up too bad, so must have did all right. Doing
So
something right.
I'm gonna leave you with this, bro.
Yeah.
Now that you know what you're doing,
Yeah.
you can make it aesthetically pleasing and do it to scale.
Like
Go get you one of those little bookshelf 2-gallon tanks and set it up the same damn way. Put a glass top on it.
and leave it like immersed like that. Yeah, that would be cool to get like a wall of it.
And
though,
then
or something.
when you be like, you know what?
There you go, Tommy.
I'm gonna hot rod it, flood that bitch. Cause you know what?
Right.
I'm a Generation Xer. Hell,
It's
if I did it once, I can do it again.
Right.
I like to break stuff on purpose to prove to myself that I learned how to
Yep.
fix it.
Well,
Different,
every
different
mistake I've
generation.
made, I've learned a ton, even if it's cost me some money. But yeah, thanks for showing that, Tommy. Yeah, you're right. You know, why not experiment and try a setup? I've never done a setup like, terrarium style, vivarium, or any of that. Might as well do it. And then, like you said, I got CO2 now, and then just flood it one day
Hmm.
and see what happens. I guess if they take forever to transition, it's like you see those boosts, the ones with the like the Boynton with the ton of tiny leaves. I bought some of that submerged, and I'm like, holy cow! By the time these drop off, how long is that gonna take? Like,
Now you
uh,
said you started those as a tissue culture, right?
these were TCs. These are only TCs I've ever
And
done.
they've stayed in that system the entire time.
Yeah, never,
Dude,
never.
you're not gonna have any hard time at all with transitioning that to submerged if you ever want to
Yeah,
do that.
that.
Just keep them in the shade.
Hey, people forget nature is brutal. There ain't no acclimation phase for nothing in nature. Hurricane
Yeah.
comes,
Flood comes when the
It's
flood
something
comes.
knocks it
go.
off.
like it
But the
happens.
new,
It is fast. We ain't even turn the lights off. You
but the
finna
new
take
growth
it.
will be different, right?
I might spit on it, but I doubt it. You finna take it. You finna just get it. It's happening
He's, ask,
fast.
he's asking you a question, Steve.
So no, I just want to ask. So the new growth would be expected to be different, though, right?
Submerged.
Nah.
No.
On boost? No, not really. I mean, the leaves may get a little bit smaller, but that's going to be like the only thing, the only really differential on that. It's more on the stem plants. The leaf structure on the stem plants are going to go through the biggest transition, but like your rhizome plants, your epiphytes, they're pretty much going to be the same.
Okay, because I'm getting the impression, because like some of my stuff that I've had before, where like a black venti or something that's beautiful or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If you buy it immersed, it doesn't look like much. But then people are like, oh, well, you wait, and you get the new leaves, and that's if you got high tech. That's when you really start to see that kind of stuff. So I don't. So I
I
guess
think that's because how those are grown.
Okay.
It goes back to a previous conversation that Steve was having about the different plants that are bred specific ways just to either darken up the leaf
Right.
or whatever, and how it's something that you have to keep up with, like the Raven Z or Raven ZZ plant that's the green plant that goes black, and how you have to
Oh, I don't know that
specifically set the plant up to make it stay in that color. Like you've got to have the
Right.
right environment, all of it, for it to stay within that color. And that goes for a lot of these plants, not just with those, but even some stem plants like Ludwigia and Rotala. Like he was talking about, like indica and Rotala indica and Rotala rotundifolia.
limiting nitrates and all that kind of thing too, and
Well, and how they're pretty much the same plant.
right, gotcha.
But different types of light, different levels of light is gonna dictate the fullness of the color and what colors are gonna come out too.
Yeah,
It's
I've
all gonna
seen
be
some.
on how it's grown.
I've seen some. Was it water wisteria or water sprite? One of those. Sorry, I'm not too great with the scientific names. But it's kind of ugly when you first get it, and it takes a long time to transition. But man, there is like one stage where it gets beautifully variegated, and I'm like, holy cow! But then that like goes away eventually too, and I'm like, oh man, if I could keep it right there, that would be like a super popular plant. But
Yep.
as it is now, it's considered just kind of plain Jane. But there's a stage that looked awesome. I don't know if you guys have seen that on that one or
No.
no.
Not on the wisteria.
Yeah, I've seen it, or maybe it's water sprite, the one that you can
Low.
you can float, right?
Okay. Yeah, no, I haven't had much success with that, but we do need to wrap it up because I do need to
Yep.
get going to work. That's the
Yeah,
only
gotcha.
reason we're wrapping it up is because
Sorry.
I'm going to cut it close for work and I don't want to be late. But I want to thank everybody for being here with us today. Again, we knew going into this was going to be a topic that's going to be ongoing. So, we'll stick around with us. We'll continue to dig into this and feel free. If you guys have any questions, make sure you guys leave them in the comments. If you're watching the replay and you want to know about certain things, leave us a comment and we'll definitely consider that and use it for our topics. So with that said, I want to thank you guys very much. Thank you, Anthony, for coming up here with us. I don't. Is this the first time you've been on a stream?
I did. I went on with a long time ago with Father Fish one time.
Okay. Yeah, because I see you pop up on the chat, but I hadn't really had an opportunity to see you on the live stream. So thank you very
Yeah,
much for coming out.
yeah. Hopefully, I'll do more. Thanks for having me.
No problem. All
All
right,
right,
guys.
take care, guys. Peace.
You too.
Bye
With
bye.
that said, I want to thank you guys and enjoy the rest of your week and happy Father's Day for those of you that are fathered this Sunday. All right, you guys have a good one. Anything you need to say, Tommy?
No, thanks everybody for being here, and I hope I'll see y'all on one of the future episodes for this for sure.
All right,
You know me, I'm down for it.
all right. You guys have a good one.